Okay. All right. But I'm gonna go to Kris. Kris, if you pick the Patriots, God help me, I'm gonna mute you. I'm playing. But Kris, I want to know who you think's gonna overachieve in this because I have to collect my thoughts after the Jets just got mentioned in this segment and not in a negative way, probably for the first time ever on this channel.
Yeah,
Right?
literally
Yeah,
ever.
probably.
Literally ever.
Literally,
No,
yeah,
ever,
absolutely.
definitely ever.
So for me, as far as dark horses for overachievers, I don't know if this is coming as a surprise for anybody. We kind of touched on them earlier during the off season when we started talking about like good head coaching picks and in that regard. And I talked a lot when we started talking about like the different divisions, and I personally was handling the AFC West division, so I had a lot of work done on the West division. So for me, the dark horse is the Raiders. That's who I'm picking up. I think the Raiders could definitely be in contention for being a dark horse to overachieve now because of the division that they're in. I can't say for sure. Like I feel like they're going to win the division. That I don't necessarily believe. But if we look at where they were this time last year, okay, like at the end of 2024, they were 4-13. They were bottom of their division. Their O line. There so it was 20. They were 29th out of 32 in their offense, and their defense was 25th of 32. So both their offense and their defense was absolutely horrendous, right? So you looked at the Raiders almost in the Jets format of like this is just a dumpster fire. Everything about them was just a dumpster fire. So what they did, I feel like they made some huge they made some
Everything.
huge
Not
stuff.
everything.
Not everything. Okay, not everything was a dumpster fire, but majority of it was. So I feel like there were some big moves made during the offseason, and I feel like they were moves that were necessary, and the things that they have done. I'm not even a Raiders fan. My father's like lifelong friend is, but I have never been, and I've always looked at the Raiders like, they're kind of a team that you don't kind of like the Vikings were for me last year. They're not somebody I normally get excited about watching, not to piss anybody off, but because you don't expect the games to be very close. They're normally not very entertaining. But what they did this year is, for one, they brought in Pete Carroll. That starts everything, in my opinion. That starts at the base. That starts how you build things up. They started with Pete Carroll. I thought that was a great pickup just because of the culture that he's going to bring in there. And I think even if you saw his press conferences, the amount of love and admiration that you saw in between the players that were there, the media that was there, everybody seems like they're kind of like the Mike Vrabel. It seems like everybody is in on Pete Carroll, and especially because of his background. So the next thing that he did is their quarterback has their quarterback position has been horrendous. Even when Homeboy was there, it was still bad. Okay, so they brought in Geno Smith. I'm not saying Geno Smith is like a top 5 quarterback by any means, but compared to what they've had the last couple years, he's usable. Okay, he to me is a very mid-level quarterback, and that for the team that he's starting, to me that's a good way to start. You start with somebody that you can trust, and then on top of that, they go into free agency and they bring in Raheem Morris. Morris. I'm probably messing his name up. I apologize. But nonetheless, so on top of that, they go into the draft and they bring in Ashton Genty, right? So now your running back crew is completely set. You have a Brock Bowers on your tight end who was elite last year in his rookie year, coming into his second year. I still feel like Michael Mayer is still a very good tight end, so it's still usable. Now, the only question is always going to be their wide receiver. I am a big fan of Jacoby Myers. However, he's not your wide receiver one. He is obviously one of the, in my opinion, he's a great slot receiver for sure. He really never drops the ball, but they don't really have a wide receiver one. Now they brought in Jack Besh, who I love just because of his background, because what everybody heard going up to the draft, what happened to his brother and that type of stuff. So I love him as a pick, but he is also a rookie, and you don't really know what to expect from him as a rookie, and if he's going to meld well with Geno Smith and how that's going to go. So that is a question mark for me. But overall, from what they've built up in this offseason and what they've been able to do, I feel like they are setting themselves for a great foundation going into 2025. And I don't really feel like a lot of people are giving them an opportunity. I think a lot of people are looking like, oh, okay, they're going to have like a four win season, a 5-win season. That's all people are really looking at. They're not looking at them being like high top tier, maybe in like the 9s and 10s area. Like no one's giving them a shot. Not saying I got them at 10 or 11, but I do feel like you should see a very big leap with the Raiders in particular. And I would look at maybe like a 8, maybe an 8-9, 9-8 type of record, somewhere in that range. And they could absolutely be in that talk for that 7th pick, right? As far as like going into the playoffs, they could very well be in it, right along with the Patriots, right along with the Jets. They could be right there in it. And I don't think a lot of people are respecting that. I think Aston Genty for sure gives them a huge lift as far as what they're going to be able to do on the field, and that's why I have them personally as a dark horse, as far as like a dark horse for overachieving this year.
All right, Kris. No, Joe. Where the hell did you get that Raiders shirt? I wanted to ask right now, right now.
I went to see the Patriots Raiders game where Mac Jones got trucked by Chandler Jones to run in that lateral to win. I was in person,
and then
at
you
the game.
you bought a Raiders jersey after that.
I won the Raiders jersey in a field goal kicking competition at the tailgate thing. It was part of a thing I got.
Did you mention the fact that? Did you mention the fact that you were a Patriots?
Gronkowski jersey at the tailgate when I got.
Okay, all right.
So I want to say why I wore this shirt today. And it wasn't because I knew Kris was picking the Raiders. It's because I too picked the Raiders as my dark horse team. And Kris said a lot of great things, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Kris, the one thing I had a problem with, you said it was a dumpster fire all around. A dumpster fire with 2,000-yard wide receivers, I might add you, and Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. So when you say they don't have a number one wide receiver, Brock Bowers is your number one wide receiver. He just happens to be a tight end. All right? That guy had 112 receptions on 153 targets and almost 1,200 yards with 5 TDs, okay? And that was with the best quarterback they had throwing the football is Aiden O'Connell. And although I'm a huge Boilermaker fan and I love Ayok, the dude is not an NFL caliber quarterback, all right? He's just not.
That doesn't sound like it can be used to. How are we going to monetize this channel if you're going to be saying stuff like that, man?
Ayok sounds like a Star Wars character.
Ayok.
I'm just saying, AOC, man, okay? And Gardner Minshew, I love Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is a career backup quarterback, okay? That's who he is. You now add Geno Smith, who played under Pete Carroll, understands the culture Pete Carroll wants, and is going to deliver on that, okay? Then you go out and you say, oh, hey, we had 1,357 total rushing yards as a team. How do we solve that problem? Oh, I don't know. Go draft a guy who had 2,600 yards by himself. Or our offensive line wasn't good. How are we going to fix that? Oh, I don't know. Get some value picks in the later rounds at offensive line positions, really build up the depth. Oh, hey, we really need an outside guy who's a speedster. Oh, and can really win contested 50-50 balls. Okay, go get Dante Thornton Jr., who's had 25.4 yards per reception, ran a 4.3 40, and has a top speed recorded of 24.3. Oh, by the way, he's 6'5" and 220. Oh, hey, we really need a tough, gritty wide receiver who can win down the middle of the field and in the middle to kind of spell Jacoby Myers. Okay, I'll go get Jack Beck. So your offense rounds out now with some of the better pass catchers and the best running back in the draft. You sign a competent top 15 quarterback to be your quarterback. You bring in Pete Carroll, who is a player's coach, who has really never had a bad season as a head coach, realistically, although he's aging. And then you re-sign your key components on defense, add a couple extra depth pieces, and one of my favorite draft picks, Tonka Hemingway, shout out, greatest draft pick name of this draft. Oh, by the way, Max Crosby's still holding down the defensive line.
Thanks.
So when I said, and I remember I said something like this in our conversation with about teams that the Patriots would have to contend with, and I said the Raiders, and Matt, the Raiders. Yes, the Raiders. I like the Raiders. I think the Raiders have a really good chance. And you know what? NFL.com doesn't disagree with me. They're only 2 spots back from the Patriots in a win total, Mark. And so they're right there as a possible projection to do this. And if we're going to talk so great about the Patriots, we better give some fucking love to the Raiders too. And that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, the Patriots did all the same shit that you were just praising the Raiders for, and you're like, the Patriots have no chance.
Hold on. I want to do something. I know.
Crosby.
I know this is.
Have an Ashton Genty.
I know this.
Brock Bowers.
Hold on. I know this video is already very long, but I have an idea. Let's call this an impromptu idea, okay? The NFL season's very soon. The schedule's already out. You know what I mean? What I think we should do is we should actually test how much you guys believe in the Raiders. You know what I mean? How much you guys genuinely think the Raiders are going to win. And if you guys want to do that with the Patriots, so be it. But let me just go ahead and pull up this schedule right here so that I'm
week
not
one, baby.
The
Week
division.
one.
The division.
Week one.
Listen, the division's going to be a problem for the Raiders. That's why I don't think the Raiders are going to make it as far as the Patriots, because you got 3 playoff teams from last year in the division and the team who dominates everybody and the Kansas City Chiefs in that division. So I think that's going to be a big issue. I think that's going to be why they don't make the playoffs, because I think they could go 1-5, 2-4 in division play potentially. But it's going to be an issue for the Raiders, I think.
Yeah, Patriots. Okay, week one, Patriots or Raiders, Joe. Let's go and test you.
Honestly, brand new system, brand new defensive scheme. I like the Raiders a little bit.
Just describe the Patriots again.
Oh my
Just
gosh!
literally
No, wait. You. So wait.
The
Hold on.
Patriots
Week one.
have a brand new
Week
offensive
one.
system and a brand new scheme that they're going to week one with against a left tackle who hasn't been tested against NFL level caliber, and his first test is Max Crosby.
You just again,
Find out Max Crosby. He can stop Max.
the Raiders have a brand new everything, and you're talking about all the Patriots have
Wait,
a brand new
how can we say that about the Raiders? How can we say that about the Patriots and not about the Raiders? And not only that, like you're
We
acting
don't
like
have pass rushers. We don't name one top tier pass rusher the Patriots have.
who on the offensive line? Who on the offensive line of the Raiders are we exactly like?
We returned almost every single starter from a 32nd ranked pass offensive line, except for one or two guys, and one guy is Morgan Moses, who's 37, and
He's coming off a great year. He's coming off a good year.
Issue injury.
He's coming off a good year, Joe. Like it's not like he's gonna like. First of all, you act like the Raiders made these groundbreaking moves. You're mentioning rookie wide receivers, and I applaud Jack Beck, and I hope Dante Thompson or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name.
Dante Thornton
Jr. I hope they both succeed. I wish the best to both of you, but I'm not going to rely on 2 rookie wide receivers for Geno Smith to throw at.
32 torn ACL surgery, Stephon Diggs, who's partying on a boat.
He's a lot more. I'll tell you this. He's a lot more reliable already. He's going to be a lot more reliable than 2 rookie wide receivers that, quite frankly, were only relying on their intangibles and hoping that they work out versus a guy that's actually proven to have success in this league. Like the comparisons could not be more different. You're getting Drake May, who showed a tremendous amount. Look, I'm not gonna
go ahead and name the top 5 or top 10 players playing in that game.
It's not a freaking all-star game, Joe. It's not like the 3 best players it's not the NBA.
The best players win football game.
It's not the NBA, Joe. There's 53 players on a freaking roster. So if you have 3 good ones and then 50 bad ones, it doesn't matter. The Raiders have 3 great players. The rest of the roster is mediocre. I think the totality of the Patriots roster is better than the Raiders roster. And they have, in my opinion right now, Pete Carroll's 778 years old. I think Mike Vrabel right now is better than Pete Carroll, okay? I'm sorry, I just do. And I also think Drake May is better than Geno Smith. So again, I think all the things that you're like, the Raiders did this so well. Oh my God, the Raiders are doing amazing. The Patriots did all the same shit. And you're like, oh my God, the Patriots offseason was so bad because I'm so pessimistic. And shut up, Joe. It doesn't make any sense.
They did not the fucking Temu version of all the players that the fucking Raiders got.
You said the Patriots don't have any edge rushers. How about Keon White? How about Harold Landry? How about Milton Williams? How about Christian Barmore? How about
most of those guys have had more than 3 games their entire career where they recorded more than 1 sack.
Okay. Name another pass rusher outside Max Crosby, please. Go ahead.
Double team.
Malcolm Kuntz was on pace to have 18 fucking sacks till he got injured last year.
Oh, jeez.
What the fuck are we talking? They signed him for pennies compared to what we signed Milton Williams, who only played 35% of the fucking snaps and had one of the defensive tackle in the NFL last year.
Malcolm Kuntz is going to be the reason the Raiders make the Super Bowl. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Malcolm Kuntz. Oh boy, this.
I don't understand. I don't understand how. Yeah, look. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this defense. Devin White, Landon Roberts, and Tommy Eichenberg are in your front seven, and you expect me to be afraid of that? Like, hold on. Let's check out your secondary, your formidable secondary, headlined by Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Polamau, Eric Stokes, and Darnay Holmes. Look, I'm not saying these guys are bums. These guys think they might be quality players. Am I going to sit here and pretend that I am shaking in my boots that Drake May is not going to have his way against that defense? Respectfully, look, Max Crosby, they can game plan on Max Crosby. Everybody else, Joe, what are we talking about here, bro? Like, what are we talking about here, Joe?
Hey, you know what, man? We'll find out week one.
Week one, we will find out, man.
We will come back to this video. Matt will chop it up. It'll be in the drive. Week one, if I'm fucking wrong, he's going to put clown makeup on my face. And I tell you what, week one loses, I'll put real clown makeup on my face, nose and all. I'll go buy it today from Party City. It'll sit on this fucking desk. And I'll have my wife put it on my face while we record. Okay? That's what I'll do. If this is so outlandish that they fucking get blown out of the water because they're dog shit, apparently, week one against
the blown out, but they're gonna lose. It's like they're gonna lose. The Patriots are winning week one.
That's what we'll do. You heard it here. Clown makeup. I'll even buy the fucking wig.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.